Well. The retell lecture item type, the Achilles heel of most PT test takers, the nightmare that robs test takers of peaceful sleep. The question is, what makes most test takers dread retell lecture so much? Well, retell lecture has two aspects: listening to a lecture, and speaking to retell the lecture in your own words. With regards to listening, although most test takers have the ability to comprehend and remember the most important aspects of the lecture, however, because of their fear and incorrect strategy, they are unable to perform this function to the best of their ability. With regards to speaking, because they were distracted by other things during the listening, or because they do not have the English skills to communicate the same in their own words, their score for this item type suffers. Now, in this series of videos and blogs for this item type, I'm going to give out foolproof strategies that with practice will help you get perfect score for this item type every time you attempt it. It will require some hard work, but what I guarantee is, in exchange for that hard work, you will reap benefits over and above the PT test for the rest of your life. However, first let's understand the game. What are the instructions? What skills PT intends to test with this item type, and you need to display, and how it is scored. Retell lecture is a long answer speaking item type that has 3 to 4 questions. You will be assessed on speaking and listening skills. You will find a screenshot of the retell lecture item type in the score guide, the link to which is in the description. The top section of the screen for the retell lecture question will contain instructions. These instructions will always be the same and will say something to the effect: you will hear a lecture. After listening to the lecture, in 10 seconds, please speak into the microphone and retell what you heard from the lecture in your own words. These instructions will remain same for all questions in this item type. You must know what the instructions are and do not spend time reading this information during the PT test. According to the instructions, you will hear a lecture. 10 seconds after the lecture, the microphone will open to record your response, and you will have 40 seconds to finish your response. The 10 seconds after the lecture is your preparation time. The task entails that you listen to an academic lecture and then give a presentation based on what you have heard and understood within 40 seconds. In this item type, PT Academic tests your ability to give an oral presentation on information that you acquire from listening. Note that the instructions stress that you have to retell the lecture in your own words. Some test takers think that retell lecture is about memorizing the lecture and then saying it in the exact same words. This strategy will cost you points. Retell lecture is about repeating what you have heard and understood about the macro and macro subjects in your own words. Be advised, the PT recorder automatically stops recording after a 3 seconds silence. So start speaking within 2 seconds of microphone opening and do not take any pauses longer than 3 seconds. Some students try to beat the recorder by making a humming noise. This does not help. The machine scoring system is clever. It will identify this noise and your score will be affected. These sub-skills tested in this section are identifying the topic theme or main ideas, identifying the supporting points and examples, identifying a speaker's purpose, style, tone, or attitude, identifying academic vocabulary, inferring the meaning of unfamiliar words, comprehending explicit and implicit information, comprehending concrete and abstract information, classifying and categorizing information, following an oral sequencing of information, comprehending variations in tone, speed, and accent. To test the above skills, the machine scoring system will look at if you're speaking for a purpose, supporting an opinion with details, examples, and explanations, organizing an oral presentation in a logical way, developing complex ideas with a spoken discourse, using words and phrases appropriate to the context, using correct grammar, speaking at a natural rate, producing fluent speech, using correct intonation, pronunciation, and stress, speaking under time conditions. Do not be overwhelmed by the sub-skills jargon. Human minds, or even you, perform all the above functions when listening to comprehend anything or speaking to explain the same. I will explain these further in the PT Retell Lecture listening and speaking videos. The links are in the description. The machine scoring system will mark you on the following 3 enabling skills to measure your aptitude in the above mentioned sub-skills: content, pronunciation, and oral fluency. Content is the first enabling skill that will be scored by the machine scoring system. The maximum score for content is 5 and the minimum score is 0. If you score 0, which is quite difficult unless you don't attempt the question, the machine scoring system will not mark you on other enabling skills, and your score for that particular question will be 0. You get the maximum score 5 if you retell all the points in the lecture. You describe characters, aspects, actions, and their relationships, possible developments, conclusion, or implications. This is just not the criteria for scoring, but also informs what to pay attention to or make note of as you listen, and in what order to present the information in. You score 4 if you describe key points of the lecture, their relations, their implications, and conclusions. You score 3 if you deal with most of the points in the lecture and refer to their implications and conclusions. You score 2 if you deal with only one key point and show basic understanding of several core elements and refer to an implication or conclusion. You score 1 if you describe some basic points of the lecture but do not make their interrelations and implications clear. You score 0 if you mention some disjointed elements of the image and do not reflect on the main points and the conclusion. So it is clear, to score highly for content, conclusion forms the most important part of your speech. After content, you will be marked on the enabling skill of pronunciation. You can score up to a maximum 5 and lowest 0 for pronunciation. According to the PD score guide, to get the maximum score 5, you must pronounce all vowels and consonants in a manner that is easily understood by regular speakers of English. You have to display that you can combine sounds or delete sounds where needed in words in a manner that is appropriate to continuous speech. Furthermore, you should display correct stress on individual words and words in context of a sentence. You score 0 only if more than half of what you speak is not understandable and your speech sounds like another language. The scoring for oral fluency is quite simple. All the machine scoring system wants to know is if you can speak in a constant, smooth rhythm without hesitations, repetitions, unwanted pauses, and false starts. You get maximum score of 5 if you can display the above skills in your speech without any errors, and maximum score 0 only if you speak too slowly and display characteristic of a person who has problems comprehending English. That is it for this video. Do go through the other videos and blogs in the Retell Lecture series. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and support us by enrolling in one of our PT preparation courses that you need for one attempt PT success. Please pardon my dog. I know he has been really distracting during this lecture. But if you have any questions, please get in touch by any means given on the contact page of our website. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you and goodbye for now.